what a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. Ow, got something in my eye. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now we are joined by Arwin, 10th Man, Chocolate Saying, The Plain Truth, and I hear a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good afternoon.
Hello, hello.
Good morning.
Hello. What?
I think your echo will settle down once we've got into it. When it's just because you've only just joined the hangout.
No, it's gone. Okay.
Excellent. All is well. So, any signs of a physical Earth curve edge, formerly known as the geometric horizon?
Not even from a side of the road in a broken down 48 Buick.
You mean the invisible and non-physical edge?
The both physical and non-physical, not measurable edge that also physically blocks things with its non-measurable non-physicality. That's right, Arwin.
Right. I don't think I've seen it.
I'll tell you what I have seen. I have seen that horizon double up in height. I've seen that horizon diminish twice in height. That is, it lowers twice the distance, and I have seen evidence that it draws closer to you and moves farther away, and there's absolutely no way you can Al Baruni that Shinola.
Right on. It's definitely not physical. We're told it's a misnomer to describe it as physical. We're also told you cannot see the geometric horizon. We're also told you cannot measure the geometric horizon. We're also told the geometric horizon only exists in maths. It's definitely claimed to be both physically blocking things and non-physical, can't be measured ever. Crazy, eh? Welcome to Flat Earth.
Can I ask Travis something? Because he said you're seeing the horizon change height. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, if you want to watch my newest video that I just put out, it's a parody song. You'll have to endure my voice because I am the audio. But all last week, I basically went over this stuff. Even the video clip that I gave to Nathan, it has it on there. I have, and Anthony Riley has seen it as well. So yes, I have verifiable evidence of what my claim was. Yeah.
Yeah, but that seems kind of tough for me to accept because I don't think the horizon literally changes height, but it might appear in relation to objects that it's higher because it's, for example, closer by. You know.
Yeah, you'll have to watch the video.
Hold on, Travis. Just listen to listen to the words he's using. He's being very careful with what he says. Just repeat yourself, Arwin. He's not wrong. Okay. Just listen to him again.
Yes, I don't think the horizon literally changes height. I just think it appears to be higher or lower in relation to the objects. Yeah, you will see it surrounded with because, yeah, a horizon without objects doesn't exist. It's always the horizon between the land and the sky. So it may appear to be higher, but is it literally higher? I don't think so. I think it might just appear to be higher. But it does definitely come closer by and move further away. That is a fact.
Yeah, let him respond, Darwin.
Sure.
Go ahead, Travis.
I was going to say that's a fair response, Arwen. But what I would suggest then is if Nathan wants to pull up my video that I just put out, put it on mute. You don't need the music for it, and you will see a demonstration of it. But again, if you
yeah, okay, yeah, we had it on in the pre-show, but yeah, what Travis is saying is you can see it being in a different position in terms of the frame that he has presented to him. I'll just, because Arwen's already done it once, Travis. I was held over a barrel on this by Quantum Eraser, and I said, yeah, it's getting higher. No, it's lower, etc., just like you've done. And then he held me to task on it. Was like, is it actually higher when it's being described as, say, with the Black Swan, not, just to take it away from your imagery for a moment, that it's actually higher? Well, no, it isn't. It's behind the platforms, but is it higher? You could say it's visually further back, but higher or lower? And when you're dealing with, as you were, mirages, how can you describe it as anything? It's obviously an optical illusion no matter what you describe, right? And I've been saying, how can you say it's physically higher or lower?
Okay. I again, gentlemen, I hear you. The video that I'm referring to, Nathan, is a separate video than the one that you were playing in the pre-show.
Oh, my bad.
So it's not the same one. And again, I don't want to hijack the show, but since Arwen asked, I do have, and you can look at it. It's my newest video that I put out. It's the very first 30 seconds to a minute. You know, I've got 26 minutes of video condensed at, I think, 4 to 6 times speed or something like that. But anyway, watch it and then see if you have the same response. That's all.
All right,
That's going to be a, yeah. Just put it on mute.
Okay, so you've got a superior mirage.
That's up for debate. I think that it's an inferior mirage. I've made that statement before. I think that superior mirages, for the most part, are misclassified inferior mirages. But like I said, that's up for debate. If you want to slide the scale up so that you get to the point where I put the dotted line with the arrow in and mark off the horizon, if you just want to slide it up to that point and then
got it.
Push play.
It's on.
Right.
Okay, so what you're saying is what? What's your point?
Are you pushing? Did you push play?
You want me to push play with this line? Okay, yeah. So we've got the line pointing at the boat where the horizon is. It says my camera lens would have to be falling up.
Whoa!
You get this effect. It's not. It's stationary.
Oh, it's sinking. The image, not the boat.
This is cool. I like your gotcha moment. Am I eating my words or what?
Yeah, so that's an oil platform. That's not a boat.
I owe you an apology. You can hear me stuttering away, can't you? I'm sorry, Travis. I was wrong.
No, listen. I understood what you were saying, and because of what you were saying, you're correct. But you didn't understand what I was saying, and I was totally fine with that. I knew that once you saw it, I knew that you would come crawling back and kiss my finger.
Yeah, I'm eating humble pie. I'm really embarrassed. It's on screen while you're saying, I know what you're saying, as it all starts moving down. Well, egg on my face.
No, I disagree.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, and I have a good argument for it, because it's the same thing. Look, this is a thing that's very far away. There's no literal height change. This is like the angular apparent height change is, very little, because you're so zoomed in. But what it's technically doing is moving closer, and with it also changing the mirroring effect beyond it. So it just appears to go down.
Yeah, you're agreeing with him then. Well, then you're agreeing with him. Then you're agreeing with him. Why be such a weasel? Just say I agree and go, wow, isn't that cool?
Oh, it's cool. Absolutely.
It is cool.
But
being
the
Weasley.
horizon is not changing.
Oh, in. Just, I've had to eat bloody humble pie. Why can't you?
I'm sorry, I'm already full of that.
Whatever, weasel.
You're full of it, yeah.
Oh, thanks.
That's excellent, Travis.
Chocolate.
I like
Shout
to
out
be...
to Chocolate saying, I thought it, but I didn't say it.
No, that's excellent. I love that sort of thing. You know,
Can you though?
Spurs is typically the master of this sort of thing. You know, lead you down a declaration with bold confidence, only to show you totally wrong. Travis has done it beautifully. I love that. That's ace. Great.
All right. Well, I'm not. I stand by my point. It's exactly like I described. It's still really impressive, though. It's a really impressive shot. So, well done.
So the one thing that's even more amazing about it, right, is if you watch that in real time, you would never see that subtle change. If you were watching it with your naked eye, you would not know what was going on at all. The only way to capture this is to zoom in on it, or I guess you could take it from a zoomed out position as long as you were recording it, and then you move the time scale up and down to see it move. But it's so slow. This is like molasses spilling out in January. It's so slow.
Hey Travis, how do you, or does this differ anything from the Skunk Bay footage that does the same thing with the landmass?
No, it's the same thing, but no, it's the same.
I would say that it's the same thing. You only have 3 reference points here. You have the water, you have the platform, and then you have the Santa Cruz Island in the back right of the image. So you only have 3 things going on here. But what you'll notice, gentlemen, the entire field of view moves. Everything moves.
No.
Oh God, I knew he was going to say no.
The water closer by doesn't move. It's only when you can't distinguish the water details.
Okay,
Arwen, after that, it's all getting wobbling and warping around.
All right, Arwen, everything in the distance then. Everything in the distance.
No, Arwen's right though, and you're agreeing with him, which is good. We don't need to dwell on this. He is right. And also, Arwen, just to be fair to you, Travis did actually concede that you were correct in your first assertion, as did I, and that didn't change. We didn't say you were suddenly wrong.
Oh, I thought he kind of was backtracking then.
No,
sorry.
It's just in terms of it being higher, lower. When it's bloody moving in front of your very eyes, how can I say that's wrong? How can I say no? It's not lower. Well, yeah, it bloody is. He's just shown it me. How can I disagree with that? Yeah, it's apparent, and that's what you disclaimed when you disagreed. You're like, yeah, but it's only apparent. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what we're describing, isn't it? What we see. What's apparent? Is it physically moving? No, obviously not. But that's what their measure for are, if we're going to bring it back onto a globe point. What, this point that we've just literally watched before our very eyes move, that's capable of being described as physical and deriving R values from it? Obviously not. This is an absolute globe killer. You can't describe it as having physicality if it's just moved before your very eyes. It's just absurd.
Right. All right. Then it's settled.
What globe?
Right on. Any evidence of axial rotation? Thank you very much, by the way, Travis.
You're welcome.
Axial rotation?
No.
Oh, you got a super chat, by the way.
Oh, yes, Cleary. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. What was it he said? Something about perspective.
Perspective.
Perfect. Thank you, Alwyn. Thank you very much for the super chat, Cleary. Also, a couple of shout outs. So, Free Minded upgraded his membership. So, thank you very much indeed to Free Minded. Big shout out to you, my friend. Subscribe and join by hitting the join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley's channel member. Also, a new member, Sunny, is it Mollison? Mallison? Thank you very much for joining as a penguin, my latest penguin. Really appreciate it. Check out the Uncut and After Show. It comes out straight after the live show finishes, obviously once we've finished recording the after show. But yeah, you get that immediately if you're a member. So I put out a little, what do they call it, like a community post to the members each time it's actually published. So check it out. You'll get it. Whatever we talk about after the show is finished, the live show finishes, that'll go straight out to members of Nathan Oakley 1980. Anyway, enough plugging of me. Was there any evidence of axial rotation?
No Earth-based Coriolis, Nathan.
The proof that it's spinning is that it's not spinning.
But you can think of it as spinning.
Yeah, but that'll only make your head spin, not the world.
I don't know. I got footage of it. You want to watch it?
What? Of the Earth spinning?
Arwen, come on.
Oh, shout out to the Adam Meakin. And that's why Travis is... I can't read it. Doctor Professor?
A doctor. Yeah, a doctor professor.
Doctor Professor. Is that what you are, Travis? A Doctor Professor? Is that just made uppy?
Yeah, that's my Discord title, Dr. Professor Aetherband.
Dr. Professor Etherband, eh? M1 Bear, welcome as a new channel member. New Penguin, thank you very much.
Yeah, I've seen Travis's Ether band. He's the lead vocals and plays guitar.
Excellent. The Ether Band, eh? Boom, boom. Any evidence of an ounce of humility from Thunderfoot regards his gas helium bouncy balls go down, go boom, boom? Or does gas pressure still require the necessary antecedent of a container?
Well, unless he's debunked the second law of thermodynamics, I think gas pressure still requires a container. Yeah.
Alas, no. He simply pointed to a claim to be gas giant in a vacuum, or to put it another way, a second law of thermodynamics violation in his religious belief, to prove his religious belief of a second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum, wouldn't you know?
Ah, that's a cute dosey do.
How did he do that? Did he say, what about Jupiter or something?
Yeah. He went, look at Jupiter, it's a burning ball of gas in a sky vacuum violating the second law of thermodynamics. And that proves the sky is a vacuum in violation of natural law, because I say the light in the sky is a burning ball of gas in a sky vacuum, and that proves it. It's not begging the question and assuming one's outcome to simply assert your fundamentalist religious belief that the lights in the sky are actually also in violation of the second law of thermodynamics. But yeah, actually it is. I'm just joking. That's definitely begging the question and assuming your outcome a logical fallacy.
They even have a bigger problem than that, Nathan, because their gas giant, the sun, right? The further you get away, it gets hotter.
Wow, I'm getting loads of new members.
It's like a microwave effect, you know?
Shout out to Kim Robinson, who's just joined as a penguin. Thank you very much indeed. Getting loads of new channel members today. Wonderful.
Well, we got to think about those rebellious gas particles again. By the way. You know,
Why?
because they're moving at 2,000 miles an hour, according to Rumpus. But they had to stop, slow down. They had to stop that momentum, stop that velocity, and say we're going to hold ourselves together to form this gas giant or to form stars. So they had to these rebellious gas particles, not just containing the Earth, they also had to defy it when they started to form these gas circular things, whatever they are out there.
Well, there's now a new plot twist thanks to Thunderfoot to the story of the rebellious gas particles. It turns out that the reason they rebelled against natural law is because deep down they were envious of the solids. They wanted to be solids. So they said, we will no longer be unbonded gas. We will be as one, bonded together like bouncy balls. Go down, go boom, boom. Shout out to Thunderfoot Clown.
So you're saying they realized they were vapid and then they got heavy from it?
No, they just decided.
They had
go on, Paul.
Go ahead.
That's all right. No, we're having fun.
That elastic collision, they had to stop that as well. They had to say, they put the brakes on right before they collided and said, okay, we're going to stay together. So no more elastic collisions either.
Exactly. They're like, elastic collisions? No. Elastic, bonded, bouncy balls. Go down, go boom, boom. That's what we're going to do as unbonded gas. Don't oppress us. How dare you say we can't go down, go boom, boom like a solid bonded solid. We are rebellious gas particles. We do not obey natural law. We will stay here at the Kármán line and violate your law. We are solid. Solidarity, gas particles. Another big shout out to Thunderfoot Clown.
I got a new slogan.
Gas particle solidarity. I like that.
Gas particles matter.
Yeah, the rebellious gas particles have got solidarity. Just use your imagination or something like that. Quote, Thunderfoot 2020.
Solidarity. It's because the word solid is in there. It's lovely.
Moving on. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
What?
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth, Arwin? Am I stuttering? Is there something wrong?
Wherever did you hear that nonsense?
It's written down in books for school kids. Couple of shout-outs. Shout-out to Cleary. Earth is a realm, not a planet. Nikola Tesla. Thank you very much for your super chat. Also, Bleeding Warrior. Pathetic Riley bought subscribers. We have proof. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I don't think you have, but thank you very much indeed for your super chat, Bleeding Warrior. My shiny new 200 subs say hi at Bleeding Warrior. What do you know? I'm egg on my face twice in one show. Seems he did. Shout out to Sleeping Warrior. Love it. Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius, the presupposition thereof.
Black Swan.
I love that I don't even have to do it anymore. Somebody does it for me.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Scientific evidence of what?
Gravity, you know. Everything goes down, go boom boom, like helium bouncy balls. All goes down, right? Go boom boom. Like balls. Like my balls. Gas balls. Tasty gas balls. Num 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 num. No scientific evidence of gravity? Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? Hey, Sleeping Warrior.
Oh, God.
Hey.
Hey.
No, it's just guesswork.
What's up, Riley?
Hey, Chocolate. Hey, have you checked the Master B chat out for the Cavendish 2.0?
Yes, I've been keeping up with that. So Dr. John Dee's Cavendish 2.0 should be very, very interesting. I don't know if it's supposed to be spilled, though. Are we supposed to be talking about this?
Oh,
Probably not.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, Cavendish 2.0, Dr. John D.
Shout out retracted then in that case.
Shout out to Bleeding Warrior. Riley just admitted it. Egg on your face. Indeed, he did. He admitted it and gave me money in doing so. Isn't that wonderful for me?
Shout out to my 200 subs that won't be here for very long.
Just without sarcasm. Hold on. Just without sarcasm. Anthony Riley, otherwise known as Sleeping Warrior. Have you bought subscribers?
Nathan, I can't afford to buy subscribers. They're far too expensive.
No, they're not. That's not a no.
I'm just teasing him because he's got an issue.
Leave it out there
say
open,
the word no. So if I tease him by saying everything but, like giving a politician's answer, it'll fuel his desire to present evidence.
Nice.
Tease, Tony.
I can't afford to. Let's get into an argument about whether or not Auntie Riley can afford to, rather than keep on track with whether or not he's bought subscribers. I see, Anthony. You want to do their trick? You've been here a long time, haven't you?
Just, I don't know. If you can't beat him, you might as well join him. So, yeah, shout out to my 200 shiny new sub.
If they want to be the donkey following the carrot on the stick, that's on them.
Yeah. Tis what it is.
Anthony, I didn't get my monthly subscription to stay a subscriber. Why didn't that come through this month? I'm wondering why.
Do you know what? I don't know. Maybe it got lost in the post. Do you know what? I bought some stuff for my bike, right? And I ordered it almost a month ago. And it's only coming from Doncaster, which is about, I don't know, a day or two in Royal Mail. It took nearly a month to get here. So much to the point that I rang him or I messaged him on eBay and I said, "Here, where's my stuff? I ordered it nearly a month ago. I know the coronavirus is taking its toll, but it's been nearly a month, best part of a month. Can you resend them?" They weren't expensive. So he was like, "Yeah, okay, no worries." I got both of them in the post this morning, didn't I?
I've been waiting for some acoustic foams for a panel I made, the only panel I made myself. And I ordered the foams from China. I wanted a specific density. I ordered them special. Nearly 3 months later, still haven't arrived. Still waiting for them. Anyway.
Yeah.
Isn't it disgraceful? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No, what we can calculate it as though it's a physical object, and we can guess that if the Earth's a ball, and then we can guess that if Venus is the same size as it, then we can scale out the whole universe.
How'd you do that then? I don't understand. If you guess the Earth is a ball, and you guess what about Venus?
Yeah, you assume that Earth's a ball, and then apply Eratosthenes' rough calculations of its sticks in the ground, and then you assume that Venus is a sphere of the same size as Earth, roughly. So you've got a bit of wiggle room just in case you're out a little bit, and then you can calculate applying some basic trigonometrical calculations. You can apply the distance to the sun, and then when you get the distance to the sun, you can then calculate its size because you need to know the distance to get its size, and then you can claim it's massive.
They're saying
that's what they did.
If you assume Earth's a sphere, and then you assume you can calculate a radius value based on a geometric horizon that you can't see, you can then take that geometric sphere edge and its horizon to give you an R that's the same as a light in the sky called Venus. And when you impose our R value onto... Oh, is that what they call it? Our twin. Oh, isn't that nice? So when you impose that onto a light in the sky, a little twinkly dot, and say that it's essentially the same thing as us, with the same radius as us, that assumption gives you the size of the sun. But you haven't got the size of the sun from that. You've got it because you've assumed the size of Venus and then observed a transit, correct?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. What we did then was we used more mathematics to calculate whether or not Venus should be the right size. And what do you know? When you work it backwards, Venus is basically exactly right.
That's based on Kepler.
Well,
hold on.
And where does Kepler
hold on. Where do they get those maths from?
Well, if we apply Kepler's laws on interplanetary motion, we can calculate then the radiuses of all the planets, and it all starts falling together like pieces in a jigsaw, right? And it's always backwards calculable because we've started from the premise that we can assume that the Earth's a sphere and assume that Venus is the same size as Earth. So no matter which way we mathematicize it, it'll always work out, and therefore it's true.
Well, wait a minute, you forgot one. They did confirm the distance to the sun on the summer solstice during a half moon. They determined the distance to the moon, and they calculated the distance to the sun at the horizon. So come on, that was confirmed that way. Didn't you know this? So everything's right.
I am aware, though, that when you speak to ballers about this, they say that's not even how they do it on our model. We do it with radar ping reflections from Venus, and that's how we get the distance to Venus. But if you ever actually look into that discussion, you'll find that they all argued and disagreed about whether or not they were seeing ping echoes at all, because the background, I'll call it the cosmic background noise, which is like bees flying by and traffic and the usual kind of stuff that you can hear in the atmosphere, the noise. They call it cosmic noise, but really it's terrestrial noise. That noise drowns out the reflection of the wave that's coming back, and that nobody could agree on what they think they were looking at.
No, that's not true. Hold on, I'm sure they did this at Jodrell Bank, and they were all in agreement, were they not?
Well, they did it all at Jodrell Bank in it was just before the Apollo moon missions, right? So it was I think it was 1961 I can't remember the exact date, but it was only until they sent all the information over to a bloke at JPL Laboratories in America, otherwise known as NASA, a bloke called Bob. And once he took a look at it, he basically went back and said, yeah, that's the ping reflection. You're looking at it. And then once he said that, everybody jumped on it then and said, yeah, we've confirmed it. Well done, and patted each other on the back. All because a bloke from JPL called Bob said it was true. Look it up. It's a true story.
Now, hold on. So they're looking at something and they haven't got a clue what. But then a guy from the Jet Propulsion Laboratories comes over and says, and this guy's called Bob, right? Bob?
Yeah, Bob.
Bob comes over and says, no, this is what you're seeing, and tells them what they're seeing. Is that correct?
Yeah, he confirmed that it was true. So once Bob from JPL, once he said it was it, then that became it then, and everybody accepted it, just because Bob said so.
I see.
Bob's my uncle.
So Bob's your uncle. He says it's...
And he's your aunt.
He says it's a reflection, and therefore it is.
Correct. It was his interpretation, and once he'd committed to it, then everybody jumped on it. But until he committed to it, nobody wanted to talk. Nobody wanted to put the name to it until Bob did it from JPL, and then it was fine.
Okay. Well, let's just assume that Bob's right. It is a reflection, right? Now they're going to compare what they've got in terms of the timing to their base assumption, correct? Does their base assumption include mathematics that assumes Earth's a sphere?
Of course.
So they're going to take their base assumption that Earth's a sphere, derive a distance to the sun based on a distance to an assumed radius valued rock in the sky twinned with Earth called Venus, and then based on that assumption and those estimations of those distances and the timings involved at those distances, they've fired a reflection, got something back within the time frame that they should be getting it according to their own mathematics, but the people at Jodrell Bank weren't really sure what they got. But then a guy from the Jet Propulsions Laboratory called Bob comes along and says, no, that's definitely a reflection in the exact time frame that we'd expect when we assume Earth's a sphere, and we assume the radius value of a light in the sky called Venus is the same, and we extract out the distance to the sun and then convert it by this measurement, which you don't know what you're seeing, but I know I do, therefore it is, therefore confirmed distance to Venus. Correct?
Yeah, so they were looking at in a set time frame based on believed and known parameters, right? And they knew that it would be in this period of window based on, these parameters, and there wasn't anything there. Now they claim that there was, and they all disagreed over what they were interpreting. The guy's name's Bob Price, and the other guy's name's Paul Green. And the link's in the chat for you to have a look at in your own perusal. But there was a bloke in this, and there's a section in this paragraph called Venus or Bust. And basically, the guy one of the guys was about to make a PhD thesis, and basically he needed something to write about. And if he didn't get this ping reflection, he didn't have any thesis, right? So it had to be there. So because it had to be there, basically, it needed to be there, right? And he was able to then write his thesis on it. But if they're not looking at the right time, because Venus is either a light in the sky, or maybe it is physical and it's a different distance and it's much closer or whatever. Obviously, they're looking at the wrong time frame for this ping. Now, whatever Venus is or is not, it's still a perception based on squiggles. I'll compare it to seismographs and seismology. It's a perception based on squiggles. It's not proof of a radar bounce to and from Venus.
Well,
but have a read through it.
Okay, so just a couple of other details have now exposed themselves, which I didn't anticipate coming. So you've got an assumed radius value for Venus, and with that you've got the distance all roughly worked out that's going to be confirmed by this radar bounce, right? Well, yeah. If that assumption for Venus was different, that would massively change the timings and the sizes. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course.
So how do we come to this assumption that Venus is our twin with the same radius as a presupposed radius of Earth that can't be measured or derived because we do not see a geometric horizon? Was this worked out carefully scientifically, or what? Was it just some dude's idea? I mean,
Christian Huygens.
That came from a bloke called Christian Huygens, who assumed that Venus was a sphere and that it was the same size as Earth.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, stop. Can you Sorry, I was just about to say it couldn't possibly have just come from one dude who made it up, but now you're telling me it has come from one dude who just decided that a light in the sky called Venus was the same radius and a sphere like Earth, assumed to be a sphere, even though you can't measure a geometric horizon, it can't be seen or measured. Is that correct? Yeah. One dude.
Christian Huygens.
So Christian Huygens decided...
This was the Jimmy point, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I do remember Jimmy.
That's exactly the Jimmy point.
I remember that. That was a great day. That was great.
It's happened. Hold on. Let's preface this. Hold on, Anthony. I will let you loose. So this has recently happened with Fight the Flat Earth. When they don't like something, they just add to it randomly. But nevertheless, regale us, Anthony, with the wonderful tale that is the tale of Jimmy the Scumbag Fraud.
So Fight the Flat Earth's done it with Spurs Chemo. If you're not aware, Spurs presented a video about how they create big panes of glass for skyscrapers or whatever, I presume. And in the video, the guy doesn't say that the glass is flat. He says the glass is absolutely flat, right? That's stronger than just being flat. And basically, Spurs was challenged to present evidence of absolute flatness. And he did. And there was a bet on it, and there was hokey pokey and all that. But the bottom line was this. Fight the Flat Earth, redubbed over the top of the video, it follows the curvature of the Earth. Spurs is like, well, that wasn't in the video. What are you talking about? He realised it was Fight the Flat Earth, and basically he faked it. Now, he says it was to demonstrate the point that you could just say anything you want in the video, and then that becomes fact. But it seems to be the case that because Spurs did present evidence of absolute flatness, contrary to the assertion, the terms of the challenge that he was presented with, it seems that it was only done to support him weaseling his way out of it. In the same way that Jimmy presented evidence live on the show, it was funny because Nathan's he cited a document for supporting citation for a particular point. I'd clicked on it. I had my eyes on literally the sentence that he was about to read off, and what was meant to be a verbatim reference reference. He read it, and he read the first sentence completely verbatim, but then he added a little bit to the end that wasn't in the citation, and I spotted it because I happened to have my eyes on it. I said, where does it say that? And he said, it's in the reference I've just given in chat. I said, where does it say that? And we made him read it back, and it wasn't in the reference. He'd added it himself, just like Fight the Flat Earth did with his evidence. But yes, they all assumed that Venus was the same size as Earth. And if you assume that Earth is a sphere of a given radius, then you can calculate the whole proximity of the whole solar system based on it.
What an outrage.
Shocking. So, as far as I'm aware, the conclusion of the Fight the Flat Earth point is that Fight the Flat Earth should be making a donation of 500 quid to some charity. I think the charity is going to be something like neutral, like NSPCC or something like that.
I think the charity is called the Atherband Research Society.
The Flat Earth Society or whatever, yeah.
No.
There's definitely some argy-bargy going on with that. I'm not in, the facts are there or thereabouts. Don't quote me verbatim on it. I don't know exactly what the issue is. Spurs has got them like up, line and sinker with a citation, and they just don't like it, so they're trying to weasel out of it. Him and Team Skeptic, so they both owe 500 quid.
Stop. No, stop. Not this both over 500 quid, right? The bottom line is there's an assertion that level isn't level. Level means conforming to the surface of a sphere, according to globe Earth zealots who've been around the Wrekin with us in this argument. So level's no longer level, it's a contradiction in terms it actually means curved according to them. Spurs has demonstrated that the useful property of, in this case, liquid tin, is that it's perfectly flat. Therefore, you can make perfectly flat glass with that. Now, if it was, as they suggest, as it travels down this canal to be formed into glass, conforming to a curve, they'd be creating lenses, not flat glass. But to get around that problem, what Fight the Flat Earth did was just literally overdub his own voice saying that means it's conforming to the shape of a sphere, when obviously that would make the entire example farcical, because the point of the demonstration is that they're making perfectly flat glass with the perfectly flat liquid tin that they're floating it on when they make it. Not perfectly flat because it's conforming to something curved. That's how we get it so flat. No, that makes no sense anymore when you add a totally nonsensical statement on the end.
That sounds like desperation to me.
Yeah, the other part I liked about that was when the video talked about how the glass flows down the canal. And Spurs called that out, and Craig said, well, yeah, he said canal, but he doesn't mean canal.
It sounded like he was going to cry when he said it. They get very upset when they're demonstrated to be wrong. They launch immediately into fundamentalist religious zealotry.
He said canal, but he doesn't mean canal. These guys.
He said canal, but I can just overdub him saying bathtub.
Basically. Like, how pathetic do you have to be
literally,
honest?
They will literally change the words coming out of somebody's mouth if it doesn't agree with them. If that doesn't say zealotry, I don't know what does. One thing trying to weasel your way around the definition of a word is another thing to literally, completely contextually change an example by overdubbing your own words on the top of it, making it make no sense, just so you don't have to lose an argument that demonstrates that liquid is flat, and that's how it's being utilised when making glass. Rather than conceding, that's the level of zealotry they'll go to. They'd rather go to the effort of redubbing what the guy says with their own words. My God, that's the level we deal with. We're shocked that we don't get a concession in debate. My God, that's the tip of the iceberg. Zealots.
Keep doing it. Keep adding to the list of nonsensical things that you guys do in order to prevent us from understanding that you have no arguments for your globe, you have no globe, you have no geometric horizon. These are all just tactics, man. And it's pretty pathetic ones on top of that.
Yeah.
For you to dub your voice over something that has nothing to do with the earth or anything, just glass, and you're just going to dub your voice just to make a point that you could just say something and declare it to be true. Well, that's kind of funny. That sounds like projection because that's what you guys do. So you actually projected what you do, and you did it, which I think is hilarious and pathetic.
It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. But as I say, I keep saying it, it's a demonstration of fundamentalist religious zealotry. But I mean, it's beyond that. There's got to be a new description. That's beyond zealotry. It's so much worse. It's bordering on fraud.
Well, it is kind of fraud, but it
is fraud. It is fraud. It's the case, Top. It's the case that, can you imagine, right, if there was an argument on our side and we went and faked some evidence to support our assertion that the Earth was not a ball, and then they found out, what would happen in that situation? It'd be horrendous, wouldn't it?
Be hung, drawn, and quartered. We'd be hung, drawn, and quartered, metaphorically speaking.
They're just used to it. Everybody's doing it now on their side. So it's just like, well, as long as our friends, fellow ballers, don't really care that much, we could go that far. Sure.
Yeah. The support is so strong that they can get away with whatever they like in terms of deceit. And the audience will turn a blind eye to it and move on with their day and be happy that they've at least attempted to reassert their the audience, that is, their fundamentalist religious zealotry also. Well done, yeah. You showed him by overdubbing it, and they'll cheer for the fraud.
Can you imagine, Nathan, if you and I were to do some kind of experiment or test or demonstration or something to support a point, and let's just say we called it gas pressure without a container, and we used a big bloody pipe that went up the side of the house, right? There would be hell to pay, but yet nobody on their side calls out Blue Marble Science for using a big bloody container that gave him the gas pressure. Everybody ignores it. It's like, yeah, imagine if we did that. Never go down well, would it?
I've got a better example now. Yeah, if you can't demonstrate that you require containment for gas, you'll literally turn gas into a solid, bonded, bouncy ball and pour it into a fish tank and claim that that demonstrates, let me get the quote correct, gas pressure without a container by way of solid, bonded, bouncy balls. Another shout out to Thunderfoot Clown, who doesn't understand intermolecular bonds and will tell you to use your imagination to turn gas into a completely different state to get around a second law of thermodynamics violation. So not just I'll use an actual gas like butane and then claim it's not in a container when it's in a container, but I'll literally not use gas at all. I'll use bouncy balls like a clown. So there's a better example. Thunderfoot has actually managed to top trump the redneck retard. At least the redneck retard was using gas.
Wasn't that idea of the bouncy balls originally kind of introduced on the scene by Rumpus?
Who knows? I just know that Thunderfoot, with almost 1 million views, has told them to use their imagination. Imagine gas is actually solid. And then you'll believe in my 105-year out-of-date religious belief in gravity being a force, when everyone who, let's appeal to his obviously very dear to his heart qualifications, people who outrank him tell him otherwise. People like Professor Brian Cox make it clear that gravity's not really a force at all, end quote. But this religious zealot with his 105-year out-of-date rhetoric seems to think that actually gas is represented by solid, something that a 7-year-old understands better than. So Thunderfoot's an abject clown, and I think he's a far better example than the redneck retard. As I say, at least the redneck retard recognises that you're going to need to demonstrate gas pressure without a container by using a gas.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
A couple of commenters that were challenging me, like with the usual ridicule, you're an idiot. And then I've gone out of my way to respond to a lot of them because I know that Thunderfoot hunts his way through his opponent's comments. And I've pointed out to every single one of them. No, your guru Thunderfoot is an abject moron. Has described gas go down, go boom, boom like helium. Yeah, no, he's a complete clown. And a couple of them have said, yeah, Yeah, I know I was ridiculing you, but the gas bouncy balls example was pretty poor. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Abject buffoonery. Yeah, we're going to be needing a retraction. You're going to need to tell your million people who you've lied to that you're wrong. That gas absolutely, definitely does not behave like solid, bonded, bouncy balls. We're going to need that retraction. Because if you don't give it, we're going to continue to call you a fraud. Because you're not justifying, you're not saying, actually, no, it's not fraud. I wasn't intentionally deceiving people by telling somebody that gas behaves like solid, something a 7-year-old understands is not the case. No, it wasn't fraud and deceit. I'm actually a retard. We need to hear that, Thunderfoot. We need to know if it's abject stupidity or outright fraud when you deceive people about how gas behaviour is with solid bonded bouncy balls that definitely don't behave like unbonded gas. Yeah, that's just fraud, lies, deceit to sell your religion. You're like all the fundies you used to debate 10 years ago now, aren't you? But yet when you were debating them, you got away with telling them how consensus view was right and that they needed qualifications to challenge you. No. Spurs has shown us that you can hand a PhD his ass without any qualifications. And when they tell us to respect their authority, oh, how we laugh.
I didn't even think it was possible to outdo what the redneck guy did. But the way you just explained what Thunderfoot did, I never would have thought about it. He'd have to just change everything about gas to beat out redneck.
Oh, it's happy days. In your wildest dreams, could you ever believe that somebody could ever be more stupid than Blue Marble Science, the redneck retard, with his demonstration of gas pressure without a container as per his title, with 2 containers? Did you ever think anybody would top that in terms of stupidity? Well, happy days! Someone with almost 1 million subscribers has managed to out-stupid the redneck retard. Kudos, Thunderfoot Clown with his gas bouncy balls. Let's all have a damn good laugh at Thunderfoot Clown. Here comes Thunderfoot Clown. Bouncy balls aren't gas, Clown.
I'm just seeing him juggling balls and saying gas.
Yeah, me too. Let's see if you can do that with helium. Yeah, now that you've stepped into the ring, we are absolutely going to be demanding the same demonstration with the gas that you detailed by way of a second law of thermodynamics, begging the question fallacy to prove a second law of thermodynamics violation. No. You just mentioned helium though, didn't you? Well, isn't that useful? Because that's a gas. So we're going to need to see helium. Not go down, go boom, boom when bouncy balls, Thunderfoot Clown. We're going to need to see helium without a container, maintaining gas pressure. Yeah, that's what you're going to be doing. I didn't choose helium. You did, didn't you, Thunderfoot Clown? You're going to be showing us gas pressure without a container. Now, again, I'm not going to leave this open-ended for the sarcasm, because it's way beyond that with this clown. Retraction time, Clown. You've said gas is like bouncy balls, Clown. Time for you to correct that error, Clown. That's Thunderfoot Clown, for anybody who thinks he's still their guru. He's just got away with pretending to be a scientist for about 10 years by telling people that consensus view and accreditation trumps all. He told some fundy zealot that did a fake DMCA claim against him that he'd need peer review in order to challenge him. Au contraire, Thunderfoot Clown. I just need to show a little gif of you juggling bouncy balls with a caption saying helium and everyone will laugh at you. Because that's the kind of thing a clown does. No accreditation needed. Just a demonstration with your own words of stupidity that you're going to be retracting.
Nathan, I just don't understand. How does a cylinder or a fish tank represent a ball? I don't understand.
No, we won't even get there.
Or how about this?
Go, Travis,
how
go.
does a fish tank full of...
Go on, Travis.
I was just going to add, how does a fish tank full of static sugar water represent an atmosphere that is dynamic and in motion?
Oh, I'll just give you a Thunderfoot to answer that question. Quote, use your imagination. Or something like that. End quote. Thunderfoot 2020.
That's the exact same thing that Dean the Stingray on Jose's channel said the other day. He said, Flurfers, they just have no imagination. They just can't think creatively about these things. Which translates to mean we can't create up a bullshit just so story like they can.
Yeah, those flat earthers, they struggle to work at the not really is level with imagination and mathematics. Why can't they work at the abstract level like we do? That's because we like to work in the physical and natural world at the really is level with things actually occurring, not using our imagination. To see gas go down, go boom boom, like bouncy balls.
Well, I'll take Arwen on our side. He could out-imagine them all.
Yep.
No, Arwen understands what is and isn't at the really is and really isn't level. Arwen is definitely not like some fanciful clown like Thunderfoot. Far from it. He knows, he disclaims it openly when he's saying this is just pie in the sky. That's kind of demeaning my idea of what might be.
Right.
That's definitely what I hear when I hear some of these guys arguing.
Yeah, there's got to be some
and
meme.
Just for the record, that's not Bonanza.
There's got to be some meme makers out there that can memify gas bouncy balls and Thunderfoot juggling them.
Oh, I just thought of something, guys. You got to have an imagination to do thought experiments. Come on, you got to have it.
Yeah, and you've got to have reality to do actual science.
Touche, pussycat.
Shout out to Tom and Jerry.
So, Anthony, how's the list of PhDs coming along? Purcell? Is Musa a PhD?
Which list are you talking about? The list of PhD wannabes that claim to be PhDs but might not be, but pretend that they're PhDs? Or do you mean the PhDs that can demonstrate gas or gravity or any of the claims of the heliocentric model? Which list are you referring to?
The list of PhDs that have had their ass handed to them, and the only reason they're in the debate is because they've recognised that they're utilising pseudoscience and calling it science, which gives them quite a degree of power that they might lose, given that we expose pseudoscientists. That list.
Yeah, there's a few. I think there's that Anthony Purcell guy from Australia. He's a seismologist, I think, or he gives himself a proper sounding name, but basically he's a data analyst. He thinks he's doing science, but when challenged, he can't demonstrate the manipulation of the presumed cause of any effects that he's measuring with his gravimeter. And he demands that he's doing science, but when challenged, he lost his marbles with Spurs. PhD, I think Professor Phil Bell professes to have a PhD. I might not be 100% on that, but I'm sure he does.
Yeah, he's working in hydrology, and he was on a panel full of people who were mocking us because we said water vapour was gas. And they all say, the flat earthers say water vapour's gas. And Professor, just Phil, let's be realistic, Phil Bell said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, while the panel were mocking us for saying water vapour's gas. This is a guy who works in hydrology. So he thinks it's amusing to declare water vapour as gas. This is the kind of retarded PhDs we're talking about that we're detailing on this list. Andrew Thomas Young.
It's kind of amusing, isn't it? So
what was he saying it was if it isn't a gas?
I don't know. For me to divine the stupidity levels of the ballers we deal with, it would be absurd, Anthony. I don't divine people's thoughts. They do that to us with their crystal balls. Hey, QE.
I got it. I know what they meant. They meant bouncy balls.
It's the Thunderfoot Clown Show.
Moderator. Oh, sorry, wrong room.
Oh man, that was fun last night, John, bro.
John, do you know what they were saying, John? If it weren't a gas, what was it?
I don't know.
Gaseous.
Oh yeah, that's right. Gaseous.
No, that's not even a joke. That's what they said.
Yeah, I'm asking.
No. It was gaseous water, right?
It's not gas.
Hawkins said it was gaseous.
Not
but
gas,
not
it's gaseous.
Gas.
Not gas, but gaseous.
So
it's
does that
not
mean
gas.
liquidious? Is that a new state as well? And solidious.
Nathan, I got a picture for you for your
It's,
song.
it's solidious. Solidious helium. Dun, 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 dun.
Solidious and liquidious. It sounds like characters in the next movie, doesn't it?
Anthony.
Solidious and liquidious.
I could kiss you. Just use your imagination. It's solidious helium.
Or if something is in a gaseous state, wouldn't that make it a gas?
Yeah, water vapor's gas. Yeah, they're just clowns. And the reason they're having to defy water vapor being gas is because it falls in line with the second law of thermodynamics and debunks their assertion that the sky is a vacuum. So they end up, as I keep describing, going nuts. Now, I'm not saying these people actually are stupid. They just demonstrate themselves to be stupid in these instances because they're being taken over by globe zealotry. And when you're under the influence of globe zealotry, you will declare that water vapor is not gas, or that gas is actually a solid bouncy ball. You'll do stupid things because that's what zealotry does to you, especially if you're unaware that you're a religious zealot and you just think you're right anyway. Boom, boom.
And then a water physicist says that that's the dumbest thing he's ever heard.
We just covered
John,
that.
Here's one for you. It's
we just covered that.
Me, but it's from Evergone in chat. He says the container, as used by Blue Marble Science, that's the pipe that goes up his side of his house. If you're not sure, he says that container, as used by Blue Marble Science, wasn't a closed container as required by the second law of thermodynamics.
Oh,
sorry. Hold on. Stop. Hello. Sorry. Yeah. Our question is: can you have gas pressure without a container? And he's saying the container. That's the end of your argument.
Yeah. The container.
It does closed container.
Sorry. We're asking for it without. Let's just say that again. Without, maybe in a different pitch. Without a container. And his argument and rebuttal is the container that's being used is blah blah blah. All I just hear is squealing. The container. No. We're asking for it without that.
Yeah, without any sort of container, not one type, but the others. Okay, no.
I just see if I can. Container. Let's just think of a.
Get to the container. Get to the container.
Get to the container.
Excuse me. My hand is up. I need to ask a clarifying question. Can a container have one side?
Or like a marble?
Can a container have one side?
Like a marble?
Yeah, it's like a marble.
I suppose a sealed container can have one side.
No. You mean on the outside of the marble, though, presumably, Paul? I've got to round out quick. Get to the point quick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the marble only has one side that the gas can be contained with, and it's on the outside of the marble, not on the inside of the marble.
Well, see, Paul, that is a surface that gas molecules can bounce off. And that would give you a small amount of pressure as and when they do. But the problem is in the vacuum of space that's infinitely huge in volume, the molecules will be so sparsely set out you might get one molecule every 100 years or so. It's not going to give you a lot of pressure, is it?
Right. The gas will expand to fill whatever volume is available for it to fill, as per the second law of thermodynamics, also known as entropy. With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A massive, huge, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. And a massive thank you to all of you for joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, smashing the super chat, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on either premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
lovely day.